Hey guys, it's Carla. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm painting a little country boy. If you want this outline, there's a link in the description below to my Facebook page, and I've got all my outlines on there, so just you can print it off for free. Now I'm using acrylic paint, craft paint, whatever you have on hand, and just cheap brushes. So this one takes a little longer than the ones I've been doing in the past couple weeks, but it's still very easy as long as you've got the outline on there. So you're just gonna, this is really loose and free. You're just gonna keep your brush moving, keep your hand moving, just little choppy brush strokes everywhere, and don't think about it too much. Don't stay in one spot too much. Just keep it moving. But I wanted this little light area over the roof just to kind of highlight the house. But as you get out toward the edges, you want it to be a little darker. Pretty dark in the corners. That just kind of looks better in a painting. But again, just keep it loose and don't think about it too much. This is a very painterly, I guess, style, so you don't want to spend too much time on it, because if you do, then it makes it look like you spent a lot of time on it and tried to get it too perfect, and perfect's what we don't want. So just keep it loose. What I'm doing right now is just getting all of my base colors in so that the whole canvas is covered. This is not, I'm not trying to get the finished look right now. I'm just trying to get the whole thing covered with the base colors. So at this point, don't feel like you have to make it look the way you want it, because we're going to be coming back to it. I'm using an 8x10 canvas panel, but you could paint this on different surfaces. This canvas panel can be framed. It can also stand by itself, like lean against a wall, but because it's rigid. But it can also be framed either in an 8x10 frame or in an 11x14 frame or something with an 8x10 mat. Or you can just fasten a string to the back of it and hang it. So there's a lot of options here, and I think this painting would look cute in a little boy's room or in a nursery or something. So if you have somebody that would like it as a gift, you might want to paint it for them. Or you might have a little boy or a nursery or something. Then I like to paint things that are useful instead of just fun to paint, but then you throw it away or you stack it up somewhere and you never see it again. I like to use it, and either use it in my house, or give it to somebody. People appreciate when you've spent time on something and done it yourself, made something for them. So this would be really nice. Now, I'm not being super careful here with any of this, because I'm kind of staying within the lines, but I'm not stressing over it, because if I get out of line, then I can correct it when I come back later. But just keep in mind with this or any of my other paintings on my channel, that they would make good gifts for people. For, you know, you've got baby showers, birthdays, whatever, and people really like it when you put your own time into something, into a gift. So again, I'm just filling in my base color of everything. So with this grass, just, you know, when you pick up more paint, sometimes pick up more green, sometimes pick up more yellow, so that it's not all one solid color. But just keep it loose on there. Now right here along the path, I've got it a little bit darker, just where it meets the path. Again, I'm not being careful like around the geese. I'm not trying not to get into the line, because I know that when I come back and paint my geese, I can paint over it. Okay, so we've got the trees and stuff covered, we've got the house covered, we've got the grass covered, and now we want to work on the path. So just mix the color that you want the path to be, and then you can come back and add different shades to it to kind of give it texture. And you could change the color of some of this, like the color of the house. You could change the color of that. You could change the color of his clothes, or the color of the geese, or the flowers that we end up putting back there. You could change the color of those. So keep that in mind too. If you're going to decorate with it, especially, then you want it to look good with your decor. And you could also do this on like watercolor paper or acrylic paper or something, and frame it. So just whatever you have. And guys, if you're liking my channel, please give my videos a thumbs up so that I know what you like and what you don't, and so that YouTube knows what to put out there. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this would be a good time to do that. And in the comments, if you'll let me know, like if there's a request of something you want me to paint, I'll be more than happy to do that. I just need to know what people want. Now, I want it to be something that I want to paint things that people could decorate with. So, and I've not always done that. So I do have paintings on my channel that are just skill type paintings. But what I do now is more things that people could decorate with, because I want it to be useful. I'm leaving those other videos on here, by the way, because people might want to use them. But what you'll be seeing from now on is more useful paintings. So this is just the base color for the overalls. And once we get him covered, his clothes and all that, then we can come back and start putting more detail into things. But the first thing we want to do is get everything covered. And I'm just making the pocket and that little thing on the back just a little bit different shade, just so I don't lose my pencil lines. And they would kind of be highlighted anyway, so. Now, whatever skin tone you want, like I said, you can change the colors here. So, on the skin, just think about who this is for and mix up the color that you want. Alright, now I'm drying it so that we can come back and finish up. Alright, so in the corners, like I said, I want the corners to be dark because that draws your eye to the center of the painting. And it just gives it more depth. So I'm coming back with black, but you got to be really careful with black, so don't use too much. It'll take over. Alright, now there's a bush right here beside the house. So I'm just kind of indicating that with a lighter shade of greenish yellow. And then there's pink flowers. And like I said, if you want to change the color of the flowers, feel free to do that. And you wouldn't have to have flowers here, but I think it adds something to that background that maybe is needed. But it doesn't have to be pink flowers. Now every now and then it really helps to step back away from your painting about 6 feet, or walk away from it and come back to it, because once your eyes get adjusted to not seeing it, working on it, then you see it fresh and you can tell if it needs anything. That's always a good idea with any painting, is to just get away from it. After you've stared at it for a while, it's hard to really tell what you've done. Okay, now I'm just using pure white with a liner brush and just putting in some bright highlights. And this just kind of, it cleans it up and it defines some things. But again, we're not being super careful. Just, you still want this to be really loose. Now right here under the eave, I want it to be darker. And then I want to drag it down into the rest of the house vertically so that it kind of indicates boards. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other part of the house. And that's not quite dark enough. There we go. So right underneath the eave, and then drag it down. Okay, now you do have to be a little careful with this. I'm using the liner brush and cleaning up my windows, putting the window frame in. So I'm barely touching the canvas so that I can get a thin line. Now I just mixed up a dark color to frame my door with. It doesn't matter, any kind of dark color. All right, now I want to shade his face on the left-hand side. In this painting, the light is coming from the right, so keep all your shaded areas on the left-hand side. He's got a little area back here where his hair is showing through the cap. All right, now that light blue on his shirt was for the base color. It's kind of a shadow color for white, so his shirt is white, but I don't want to cover up all of my blue because I'm using it as a shadow. So just kind of roughly sketch in that white. And then with just plain blue, I'm starting to put some wrinkles and texture into the overalls. I think this is the cutest part of this painting, the little denim overalls. Now these shadows matter because that's what shapes his walk, I guess. Like, it shows his position. And so it don't have to be exactly like I'm doing, but similar so that it all makes sense. And I'm doing this fairly quickly, but feel free to spend more time on it, and especially if you're giving it as a gift, you might want to spend some extra time on it, and kind of make it your own. But I'm just quickly showing you basically how it's done. So I'm coming back with a darker blue, blue and black mixture. And just here and there, I want it to look deeper, the shadows to look deeper. Look at those cute little overalls. Okay, so now I'm coming back with this light colored goose. I'm coming in with just white. Again, I don't want to cover up all of my dark my blue shadow color, but just kind of brushing in some white and kind of shaping the tail right here, the tail feathers. And then I'm adding a little bit of the raw sienna into the darker geese. And keep in mind here how, like, which goose is in front of another. So, like that second one from the right is on this side of the first one. And the fourth one from the right is on this side of the third one. So when you're putting in your highlights, you've got to indicate which one's in front. Now I'm just using like a medium blue shade for the shading on the bottom. And now I want to mix up a shadow color for like a cast shadow. So like I said, the light is coming from the right hand side. So your cast shadows are going to go toward the left. And I'm keeping the shadow kind of rough because it's in grass, so it's not going to be a smooth, crisp shadow. It's going to be kind of rough. Okay, so now I need a shadow under him. And again, this is rough because they're not on a smooth surface. Okay, now I'm working on the flowers again. I'm mixing up a little bit darker pink so that I have two different shades of pink back there. I want it to be a little bit darker right here by the path, a little bit darker green grass. And just like at the top where I put the dark in the corners, I want these corners to be a little darker too, so I added some darker green in there. And now I want to dry it real good before we start putting the final highlights on. I'm using a liner brush, and I'm just dabbing in some, it's really not even clear what this is, just things in the air, I guess, but it's not snow. But it just kind of brightens up the painting and brings it all together because there's going to be white flowers in the grass, so this just kind of continues that look. I live in Tennessee, so I'm assuming that these are just little allergens floating around, but could be something different, I guess. Now on the bushes, I guess it could be white flowers, but all right, now I'm putting some backlighting, some highlights around certain things. just to kind of make it stand out and to indicate that it's sunny out there. And again, you want to keep most of your highlights on the right hand side where the sun is, but there'll be some on the left, but not as many. Anything that needs a little definition, if it makes sense for the highlight to be on it, then highlight it. But if it needs definition and it doesn't make sense for highlights, then use a darker color. So now I'm putting in my little, probably dandelions or something. And you want them kind of all over the grass, but if you look at nature, it's they kind of tend to cluster up sometimes. So I'm trying to form little clusters of these, plus put some random ones in. All right, now I need to work on my geese. Keep most of your highlights on the right hand side. And remember which one's in front of the others, so that you don't make it look like it doesn't make sense. Okay, these are the little tail feathers. Now it's okay to get them bright right now with just white, because we can come back and darken them up. Okay, now right here I'm kind of separating those two geese with a little bit of a highlight. Again, feel free to change colors here and to spend a little more time on it. For video purposes, I try to paint fast, but don't feel like you have to. Okay, now I'm coming in right now and reshaping my head, and I can do that by painting back in what's behind it. So I've got that grass color, and I'm reshaping that head. All right, that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and give it a thumbs up if you did, and give it a try. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless you, and I hope you tune in next time.